Good morning, Kuhner country. Holy shamoly. Oh, ho, ho. What a press conference yesterday at the White House Daily Briefing Room. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, was right beside Tulsi Gabbard, but really it was now Tulsi's show. As she promised and delivered, when Obama released that statement denying his direct involvement in the Russia collusion hoax, basically calling Tulsi Gabbard a liar after her initial release of over 100 highly sensitive classified documents that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Obama and his top national security team deliberately engaged in a conspiracy, in what Gabbard rightly calls a seditious conspiracy, a treasonous conspiracy to manufacture fake intelligence to sabotage Trump's presidency in 2016. The dear leader essentially now has gone on the warpath. He is not just denying it. He is now saying Tulsi Gabbard is crazy. She's bizarre. She's out of her mind. She's peddling fake conspiracy theories or insane conspiracy theories. And he has now activated the entire fake news media complex to destroy this woman. And so Gabbard said, okay, if this is how you want to play it, I'm going to declassify even more. And so yesterday morning, we kind of broke it on the show. The news broke during the show. But there's so much now that has come out. The House Intelligence Committee in September of 2020 did a 46-page classified intelligence report, which now Tulsi Gabbard has released declassified to the public. It is an incredible report. It is to say it's a bombshell is an understatement. This buries Obama. It is clear now, after this classified House intelligence report, what it shows conclusively, irrefutably, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that Obama was told repeatedly by the intelligence community in August of 2016. Remember now, this is still during the campaign. Trump and Hillary are fighting it out. In August, there is no Russian interference. In September, there is no Russian interference. In October, the Russians are not looking to help Trump win the election. In fact, one of the bombshells that was revealed yesterday, I'm going to get to this in greater detail, they wanted Hillary to win. Hillary. Putin expected Hillary to win, and Putin ultimately preferred Hillary to win. And this was told to Obama and to Brennan and to Clapper and to everybody, Comey, his entire National Security Council staff. Their own intelligence community said quite the opposite. Putin is not rooting for Trump. He knows he can blackmail Hillary. He's expecting her to win, and he wants to now blackmail her after she wins. After the election, when Trump pulled off the miracle and won, the intelligence community again in November, in early December, said, we've looked at this 6 ways to Sunday. We've covered everything. There was no collusion between Trump and Putin, no collusion between Trump and Russia, and the Russians did not want Donald Trump to win. And then at that infamous December 9 meeting, which we've talked about extensively on this show, Tulsi Gabbard released more memos. One from James Clapper specifically, in which he says President Obama is now ordering us to do a new assessment. We must now find Trump-Russia collusion. In other words, we've got to manufacture contrived fake intel to frame Trump as an agent of Russia. Listen now to Tulsi Gabbard when asked specifically by a reporter, is any of this going to put Obama in prison? All of this explosive new House Intelligence Committee report, which, by the way, Adam Schiff made sure was not released to the public, and then he and Brennan colluded, listen to this, to suppress this explosive report and then stick it in a CIA vault, in a highly classified, limited access CIA vault, thinking this was never going to be found again. A whistleblower knew about it and gave that file to Tulsi Gabbard, and she leaked it and released it yesterday, declassified with Trump's permission. Listen to her now being asked, point blank, are you referring all of these new documents, these new files, to the Department of Justice? And in particular, are you now asking for a criminal referral against Barack Hussein Obama? And listen to Tulsi's response. Roll cut 2, Mike.
Believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former
the
President
evidence,
Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
So a little bit with the audio, you can hear it just in the background. The reporter says, hold on, even Obama? Hold on, even criminal implications against Obama? And Tulsi Gabbard says, yeah, correct. So now, furthermore, so he's in trouble. There's no question. Okay, he's in big trouble. Now, they're all in trouble. Listen now to Tulsi Gabbard. December 9. This is when Obama now makes the fatal decision. This is the day that will live in infamy. Okay, like December 7 for Pearl Harbor. This now is going to live in infamy for the Obama presidency and for the deep state and the Obama national security team. He makes that fatal decision to tell them we're going to frame Trump. We're going to manufacture all this evidence and we're going to pin it on him to undermine and delegitimize his presidency. Essentially, it's a coup. DNI Clapper then sends an email to the intelligence community in which he's telling them now, we need a new intelligence community assessment. All that we've been told and been given to Obama, to us over the last 4 or 5 months, saying there was no collusion, that there was nothing going on between Putin and Trump, that in other words, that this was all a hoax, that there was no attempt to help Trump win, that Putin didn't even want Trump to win. All of this, we have to put it down a memory hole, pretend it never happened. We need a new intelligence community assessment, and we need now to come to a conclusion directed by Obama. Trump and Putin colluded. You got it? That's the story. That's the false narrative. Now, manufacture and fabricate the intelligence. And on January 7th, 2020, they whipped up that infamous intelligence community assessment, which they then leaked to the media, and poof, the Russia collusion hoax was born. Listen now to Tulsi Gabbard saying, we've got, in fact, not only the meeting, we've got the smoking gun emails with Clapper and Obama signing off. Roll cut 2A, Mike.
DNI Clapper's assistant sent an email to the intelligence community with the subject line, POTUS tasking on Russia election meddling, tasking ODNI leaders to create a new assessment per the president's request. The House Intelligence Committee Oversight Report that we released today reveals that, quote, unlike routine intelligence community analysis, the intelligence community assessment was a high-profile product ordered by the President Obama.
And then she asks the media, saying, and then she lays it all out. Okay? She handed out. It was a 46-page House Intelligence Committee report at the highest levels. She said, this is the conclusion of the House Intelligence Committee, which did a multi-year investigation. These were their conclusions. This is what intel community officials, FBI officials, whistleblowers, they told us all of this. Obama ordered it. Obama wanted to frame Trump. Brennan and Clapper knew that they were setting Trump up, that they were lying about colluding with Russia. Tulsi Gabbard absolutely nailed him. This new batch, this highly classified House intelligence report, which was concluded in 2020, you want to talk about dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, all of the paper trail, all of the memos, the emails, the intelligence, the documents, it is all there. And it points inexorably to Barack Obama. There's no question now. He lied again. He lied in his official response to the first batch of documents that she released. It's clear. He was the ringleader. He ordered the manufacturing of fake intelligence. He's the one who said, we're going to say it's collusion between Trump and Russia. That's why Hillary lost. And this is now going to be the new narrative going forward. We have essentially a Russian agent now coming into the White House. Now, I want you to tell everybody in the intelligence community, toe the line. We're all going to give this. This is the story, the big lie. We are now going to peddle to the media, who then are going to disseminate it and promote it to the American people. Listen now to Tulsi Gabbard. And I almost feel sorry for her at this point because she's looking to all these reporters, by the way, most of whom, unbelievably, and Miranda Devine has been brilliant on this. She's a very good columnist. She's the one that broke the Hunter Biden laptop story. She says most of these mainstream media outlets that were there yesterday, because they carried water for Obama, because they were directly complicit in the Russia collusion hoax, refused to even report to their viewers or listeners or readers all of the stunning new evidence and the bombshell revelations in this declassified House Intelligence Committee report. They're just not even reporting on it. I mean, that's how disgusting they are. So she says, don't listen. She says, I don't want you to take a single word I say on faith or for granted. Look at the 46-page report itself. This is from the highest levels of the intelligence community. This is what Schiff and Brennan and Obama were desperately trying to hide. And that's what they put away in a CIA vault, never to be seen again. Just look at the evidence. It is damning. It is mountainous. It is massive. And it is irrefutable. Roll cut 3, Mike.
I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm asking you and the media to conduct honest journalism and the American people to see for yourself in the documents that we've released now, close to 200 pages, that point in multiple references, multiple examples, to include comments that have been made by senior intelligence professionals, who are some still working within these agencies today, that confirm the conclusions that we have drawn, that President Obama directed an intelligence community assessment to be created to further this contrived false narrative that ultimately led to a years-long coup to try to undermine President Trump's presidency.
Bingo. I mean, it was some of them. It was the most damning press conference I think I've ever heard in my life. She ripped the lid off, blew the lid off the crimes, the corruption, not just of Obama, not just of Hillary Clinton, not just of Brennan and Clapper and Comey and the whole gang, but of the deep state itself. It's all there. It's all there. Now, one of the stunning bombshell revelations among so many in that report that she declassified is now what we have learned about Hillary Clinton. And this now puts the 2016 presidential race in a completely different light. Completely different light. And I think now it explains a lot of things that maybe, we were kind of, why this, why that? Well, a lot of these unresolved questions now they're answered. So, at the heart of one of the parts of the document, listen to this, is that our own intelligence community knew, and in particular, Obama knew. He knew. And the intelligence community was telling him that Hillary Clinton was very sick. Hillary Clinton was ill. She suffered from serious health issues throughout the 2016 campaign, much worse than any of us ever thought. And in particular, what they lay out is that Hillary Clinton, this is the words from the report, suffered, quote, intensified psycho-emotional problems. That she was having depression issues, that she got into uncontrolled fits of aggression, of anger, even of cheerfulness, that she was suffering from such serious emotional issues that literally she had to be put on a daily regimen of quote unquote heavy tranquilizers and sedatives. They were shooting her up because she basically had some kind of a breakdown. She had a serious psychological, emotional breakdown during the campaign, and that they had to shoot her up with tranquilizers just to get her through every single day. Furthermore, she was battling type 2 diabetes. She was battling heart disease, apparently serious heart disease, as well as veins issues. Her veins were not working properly anymore, and pulmonary issues. That, in fact, it was so bad that literally she could not walk a single block. That she was constantly being carted around in a wheelchair every single day with a medical bag. And that by September of 2016, that her health problems were so serious and so severe that Obama was alarmed, and people around him were alarmed, saying she may lose this race because she's not able to effectively campaign. Man, did Tulsi Gabbard drop? I mean, you want to talk about bringing the receipts. Man, did she drop the hammer. 634 on the great WRKO, Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. Okay, so this is now straight from the report. Okay, I want to read to you just straight from the report. So this is now September, October of 2016. Now, if you remember, if you can go back 9 years, I mean, it was back and forth. If you looked at the polling, Trump was slightly ahead in some of these battleground states, but Hillary was up by about a point and a half in the popular vote. And so it was really razor thin. Now, by September, you have U.S. intelligence telling the Obama administration, as well as high-level Democratic Party bosses through the DNC. These are high-level Democratic National Committee emails in which they're telling Obama Hillary is really sick. And it gets to the point where it's really alarming to Obama and to his team. She may not now win the election because she's too sick to effectively campaign. all of this was being kept under the strictest secrecy. By the way, the media knew about this and they covered it up. Just like they covered up for Biden for 4 years. And now, the Russians hacked into the DNC and they got a hold of all of these emails. So Putin knows, whoa, Hillary no good. Hillary sick like a dog. Hillary, no, he's no good. So the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service is known as the SVR. So they now know Hillary is sick and that her people are keeping this secret. They're keeping it hidden from the American people. The media is keeping it hidden from the American people. The Russians now know we can blackmail her. We can blackmail her. We have, quote unquote, compromat, compromising information. So this is now straight from the House Intelligence Committee report that she declassified. Quote, as of September 2016, the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, SVR, had Democratic National Committee information that President Obama and party leaders found the state of Secretary, remember she's Secretary of State, or was, found the state of Secretary Clinton's health to be, quote unquote, extraordinarily alarming and felt it could have, quote unquote, serious negative impact on her election prospects. Her health information was being kept in the, quote unquote, strictest secrecy, and even close advisors were not being fully informed. The SVR possessed DNC communications that Clinton was suffering from, quote unquote, intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. It goes on. This is the report now. Quote, Clinton was placed on a daily regimen of, quote unquote, heavy tranquilizers. And while afraid of losing, she remained, quote unquote, obsessed with a thirst for power. The SVR also had information that Clinton suffered from, quote, type 2 diabetes, ischemic heart disease, deep vein thrombosis, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It goes on to say, now remember, the Russians now know all this. They've intercepted all of these high-level communications. And our intelligence community knows, our intel people know, the Russians know. So they're telling this to Obama. A, Hillary is sick, really sick. Here's what she's suffering from. And this is all being kept from the American people with the full collusion of the media. But the Russians know as well. Now, the intelligence community then tells Obama and Clapper and Brennan, Putin wants Hillary to win. In fact, he says ultimately he really has no preference. But if you're going to push him, really ultimately he would prefer Hillary, not Trump. Why? Because A, Putin thinks she's just going to win no matter what, that Trump doesn't really have much of a chance. And B, they can then blackmail her. They can blackmail her. Because they know they've been lying to the American public, that Hillary was keeping all of this, and that Obama was keeping all of this, and that the media was keeping all of this hidden from the voters throughout the campaign. Now, as the intelligence community report itself said, the House Intelligence Committee report, listen now to this. If the Russians really wanted Trump to win, if they were, quote, all in on Trump, then Putin would have leaked this devastating information about Hillary's health in October of 2016. it would have clearly tilted the election in favor of Trump, and they would have utterly politically finished, buried Hillary. Because everybody knew she was sick. She was really sick. In fact, physically, she wasn't capable to be president of the United States. But Putin didn't drop all that evidence. Why? Because he didn't want Trump to win. So, all of this propaganda of the last 10 years, Trump, Russia, Russia, Trump, Trump, Putin, Putin, Trump, was all fabricated, all manufactured. Frank, I wish I could say it. I can't. It was all Bravo Sierra. It was bull. You know what? It was pure bull. You know what I want to say? It was pure bull crap. That's what it was. And it was literally invented by Hillary through the Steele dossier. Now, Tulsi Gabbard has revealed all of this. Now, just stand back for a second, okay? I'm not talking about arresting Obama now or Clapper or Brennan I'm just talking about, doesn't this now start to explain a lot? Remember in 2016 when Hillary practically passed out on her feet? Do you remember that during the campaign? And people were saying, what is wrong with her? Her head keeps shaking, her body's shaking. She passed out and she collapsed. And they threw her like a lump, like a pack of meat inside a van, a security van, and just kind of threw her in there like a sack of potatoes. They just threw her body in and said, go on, go, go, go. Or the fact now, if you remember, in October, it was inexplicable. She's not going to Wisconsin. She's not going to Michigan. She's not going to Pennsylvania. These are the key battleground states. And the assumption was, and I assumed it as well, well, that's how arrogant she is. No. She was sick. Okay, let me just put a quick exclamation point. I want to go, obviously, to the great phones of Kuhner country. Phone line 617-266-6868. So, knowing now everything that has come out, I mean, just it's a revolution of the mind. So, Putin never wanted Trump to win. What is clear is that, if anything, he wanted Hillary to win because he had access to all of these high-level DNC communications emails, and Obama knew this, and Brennan and Clapper knew this, that Hillary Clinton was very sick to the point that she could barely campaign, and that this was being systematically covered up by the media, by the campaign, by the Obama regime as well. And again, I go back to that. Remember that infamous video of her almost collapsing on her feet in the midst of the campaign. And she practically passes out, and one of her aides grabs her. They call up this van, this black van, this campaign security van. They open the door, and they just threw her body in the back like she was a slab of meat. Well, apparently this was happening quite often. And she took a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizer sedatives. She had some kind of a nervous, emotional, mental breakdown. She was constantly in a wheelchair. All of this was being hidden and covered up by the media. The American people had no idea. She was battling heart disease, pulmonary issues, vein issues, type 2 diabetes. I mean, it was mental, it was psychological, it was physical. She was debilitated. And apparently it got worse and worse during the campaign. And so, we always said it was overconfidence and arrogance. That's why she didn't go to Michigan. That's why she didn't go to Wisconsin. That's why she didn't go to Pennsylvania, the key swing battleground states. Now, I think Mike is right. Mike thinks it's both. They were overconfident. They were arrogant. But now we also know she was sick. And I think it explains the how lethargic her campaign was, especially in the last 6 weeks. Trump is pouring it on. He's doing 4, 5, 6 campaign stops. he's doing a blitz of every key battleground state, and like, where's Hillary? Hillary's nowhere. And I think part of it is now it's clear she was out of it, and mentally she was out of it. Now, Putin knew this, and Obama and the intelligence community knew that Putin knew. So, Putin is, and that's why the intelligence community said, well, no, if Putin actually wants Hillary to win, A, she's sick. She's going to be a weak commander-in-chief because she's battling all of these physical ailments. But more than that, she's kept it hidden. She's kept it secret from the voters. He can blackmail the hell out of her. So everything they said that Putin wanted Trump to win, it was a lie. That Hillary scared Putin, it was a lie. Everything they said was a lie. And again, as the intelligence community report said, if Putin really wanted to interfere in the election and help Trump win, all he had to do was leak this information. These were DNC emails from John Podesta, for example, and he was the campaign manager, the campaign chair at the time for Hillary Clinton. This was, top level Democratic Party boss emails. Putin had it all. All he had to do was leak it. And this would have destroyed her campaign and Trump would have won. But he didn't. Now, the point is, Brennan knew this. Clapper knew this. Obama knew this. The intelligence community knew this. And they told them over and over, Putin wants Hillary, not Trump, to win. And yet, at December 9, at that infamous meeting, Obama said, no, we're going to sweep all this under the rug. The new line, the false narrative that we are going to repeat ad nauseum is that Putin wanted Trump to win. And not only did he want him to win, they were colluding together to win. Because we're going to destroy this guy who just won the election. Listen now to Tulsi Gabbard. In her own words, reading now from this bombshell report that she declassified. Roll cut 3C, Mike.
There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers.
So she then says, look, let me tell you exactly what our intelligence assessment truly was. This is what they were saying about Putin. Roll cut 3D. Mike.
First, Putin's principal interests relating to the 2016 election were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process, not show any preference of a certain candidate. In fact, this report shows Putin held back from leaking compromising material on Hillary Clinton prior to the election, instead planning to release it after the election to weaken what Moscow viewed as an inevitable Clinton presidency.
Now, this is the crime right here. The meeting is December 9, but then he makes the order. We're going to fabricate evidence. We're going to manufacture so-called fake intelligence. And we're going to come up now with the Russia collusion hoax. But this is still in the planning stages. In January of 2017, weeks before Trump now is to be inaugurated, they then issue their infamous, what's called an ICA, the Intelligence Community Assessment. This is the one that Obama ordered specifically. John Brennan and Clapper were also part of it. They masterminded it. Listen now. The plot now was hatched, and now it was being implemented. They were going to frame and sabotage the incoming president of the United States. This is the greatest scandal in American history. And they were going to falsely paint him as an agent of Russia, as someone who worked with the Kremlin to steal the election from Hillary Clinton. Roll cut 3E, Mike.
In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory.
And now the Russia collusion hoax was born. So, my question to you now, after what Hillary Clinton laid out, after what Tulsi Gabbard laid out about Hillary Clinton, and Obama, and Brennan, and Clapper, and Comey, in specific, painstaking detail yesterday, and then the 46-page report, which is there now. It's released. Anybody can read it. I read it. It's incredible. There's so much more. We're just scratching the surface. How does Obama survive this? How does Hillary survive this? Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Susan Rice, they were all involved. All of them. Heads are going to roll. People must go to jail. This was treason at the highest level. And if we don't get justice on this, after this kind of exposure, after this kind of a disclosure of the crimes that were committed against you, against me, against the voters, against this republic, then I'm telling you, we'll never have justice again. I mean, to me, this is the red line. People now must be held accountable. They cannot be allowed to get away with this. Now, we knew this before, but now we have smoking gun after smoking gun after smoking gun. And one last point. They lied about it under oath. Brennan repeatedly lied under oath. Clapper repeatedly lied under oath. Comey repeatedly lied under oath. This was naked black letter perjury. So not only did they commit treason and sedition, not only did they literally implement a coup to overthrow a duly elected president of the United States, but they lied under oath and committed perjury in front of Congress and the American people. I mean, it's crime upon crime upon crime upon crime. It's now in Pam Bondi's court. They've opened now an official criminal investigation. Tulsi Gabbard has made a specific criminal referral that Obama himself now be arrested. Tulsi Gabbard is being savaged by the Democrats, savaged by the media. I fear for her life, to be honest with you. Her reputation now, they're just spitting on this woman. Tulsi Gabbard is a patriot. Tulsi Gabbard is a hero. Tulsi Gabbard is speaking truth to power. And I'm telling you right now, she's one of the best picks in Trump's entire cabinet. Now you know why the Democrats fought like hell to try to prevent her from being the head of the Director of National Intelligence. Because they knew this veteran, this woman who serves in the military, she's not for sale. 617-266-6868. Okay, what do you make now of this bombshell intelligence report that Tulsi Gabbard released and declassified yesterday? The new bombshell revelations about Hillary Clinton, and now the definitive, conclusive proof that Obama ordered all of it. Will heads roll? Is it time to start making arrests? 617-266-6868. 6868. Brooks in North Carolina. You're going to kick us off, Brooks. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hi, Brooks.
Okay. Tulsi Gabbard is being very careful. She's being very thorough, not in a braggadocio way or arrogant way. She's got it, man. She is doing this by the letter of the law. Jeff, let me ask you something. After December 9th through January of 2016 into 2017, who was it that Hillary Clinton paid to concoct the Russian dossier?
Fusion GPS.
How about Daniel Steele?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Steele dossier.
Okay. Do you think that Tulsi...
Sorry, Brooks, not to quibble, but it's Christopher Steele. Thank you. Yeah, I think Danielle Steele's the novelist, but anyway, but that's okay. Christopher Steele. Yeah, Fusion GPS, who then hired Christopher Steele and the infamous bogus Steele dossier. Please keep going, Brooks.
Yeah, we both got a bite of it. All right. So, in my mind, Jeff, I haven't read this. I haven't heard this. Tulsi has somebody in her pocket waiting to become the whistleblower of the millennia. I think it's Christopher Steele. Or somebody like an Andy McCabe. They've got somebody holed up somewhere where they're already making, call it contributions and or, a lesser sentence, what have you. She's already stated she's got whistleblowers coming, but I think what we're going to see, Jeff, is it's going to be a high-level whistleblower like a Christopher Steele, because a lot of this hinges on that false dossier report. Now, the key here, and Trump said this, that, they're sending out little bit, I don't know if they're doing this on purpose or if it's just happenstance, but, Trump himself indicated that he let Hillary go the first time. And he said something to the effect of, well, at the time it was for good reason, but he kind of leaded to the fact that, we're going to be able to utilize that information now. Okay, he intimated on it. There's something there about Christopher Steele and that Steele dossier, I feel strongly, is going to come back and really, really get him. I think that's going to be the package on top of the Christmas bow that really unravels all of this. The other thing, too, is that James Comey, did you get a chance to see his selfie video production yesterday?
Is that the one where he was angry about his daughter being fired from the DOJ?
Bingo, yeah. So there again, a little cryptic, a little odd, in as much that he's indicating, others are going to have to do what Maureen did, and possibly be fired. And there's honor in that. There's dignity in that. They're breaking away at the dam. The Trump administration is taking a sledgehammer to our reservoir. So, he's also indicating that the dam is beginning to break. But again, the thing that is infuriating about this is James Comey plays that, cute little Boy Scout, innocent, and, we're to be led down that path. I mean, fools are we to believe any of what he says is true. We all know that, he's an incorrigible liar, but I just, I can't stomach this cocky, arrogant, brazen behavior of his.
Well, he's a megalomaniac. I mean, first of all, he's a snake in the grass. He really is. He's a scumbag. I'm sorry to put it that way, but that's what he is. And he's a megalomaniac. And people who worked with him have attested to this. He literally thought of himself as the second coming of J. Edgar Hoover. He thought he was going to be the greatest FBI director that ever lived, that they were going to rename it the Comey Building. I'm serious. That's the self-delusion, okay, the delusions of grandeur that this guy has. Now, you're completely right about Comey. Remember, he's the guy that put the pebbles on the beach, and then with this, with the picture, and 8647. He's telling people, you got to kill him. You have to assassinate Trump. And the reason is because the walls are closing in. He knew this was all going to come out. He got wind of it. The 8647 or? Yeah, okay, we'll play that a little bit later. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, we have the video. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. Mike was just in my ear saying he has the video of what you're talking about where he's melting down over, Maureen Comey being fired and, more reservation. More people have to start quitting their jobs. More resignations have to come. And, Trump's hammering away at the dam and the reservoir. And, the reservoir is going to, spill over. And, we're sliding to a dictatorship. So, no, he knows he's in big trouble. He knows he committed crimes. Now, let's go back to the Steele dossier, because you're right. It's all going to go back to that. Tulsi Gabbard literally released the emails and the memos in which Obama is explicitly told the Steele dossier, A, was concocted by Hillary Clinton. It's a political document. B, it's false. It's garbage. It's full of lies. Brennan was told specifically it's been debunked. It's discredited. It's garbage. It's almost all of it is a lie. Clapper was told the exact same thing. And even though Obama, Clapper, Brennan, and Comey, all four of them were told this is a pack of lies. It is garbage. They forced the entire intelligence community to use the Steele dossier as the basis for their claim, because they had to hang it on something. Well, where are you getting this idea that Trump colluded with Russia, with Putin? Like, where are you getting this from? Well, here it is. It's in the Steele dossier. But they knew the dossier was false. And they still pushed it and then forced it upon the entire intelligence community, because that's how they were going to disseminate it to the media. And then eventually they hoped to bring down Trump. So in the end, it is going to come back to the Steele dossier. Now, to your last point, Brooks, and I think this is a really very insightful on your part. There is to me, it's clear now. They're not calling this person that, but it's deep throat. There is someone very high up. This is like with deep throat ended up being Mark Felt, who was deputy FBI director. Felt was the one that fed so much of the info to Bob Woodward. There is somebody very high up that is clearly feeding Tulsi Gabbard all of this information. She's got somebody. Now, we're going to eventually find out who is it. Either they've made a deal with somebody, or somebody has a conscience, or whatever it is. But there is a deep throat. And you can tell, because what she did yesterday, it's not, people are going to say, well, Jeff, she's kind of telling us what she already said in the first batch in Friday. No, it's a lot more. But now it is super conclusive. It's, you're having an affair. Okay, I don't just have a witness. Now I have a photograph. Here's you in bed with your mistress. Or, you in bed with your lover. Like, here's the picture. Like, here. She's naked, you're in bed. That's it. I've got you. That's what she did yesterday. And either it was a miracle or there's a deep throat, because someone told her there's this report, highly classified intelligence report, that documents and shows and exposes all of this. And that Schiff and Brennan went to the CIA at a secret vault that they have. Limited access. Maybe 3 people, 4 people on the planet can go there. And they buried the report there. Really? Yes. You want the smoking gun? In other words, you want the proverbial, picture of the, in bed with the mistress or in bed with the lover? There it is. She got it and she declassified it. 617-266-6868 is the number. Marlene in Waltham. I know you've been holding patiently, Marlene. Thank you and welcome.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Marlene.
Awesome. I am so glad we're doing this. I have 3 points, but one already was the $12 million Steele dossier that was paid by the Clinton. You already touched on that. But I have called before since 2016 saying, what about the Gang of Eight? Rubio is in the Gang of Eight. He was even intelligence chairman once upon a time. He knows everything since way back then. Gang of Eight, the Intelligence Committee, which included Pelosi, Schumer, McConnell, you name it, Swalwell, Schiff, and don't leave out Mitt Romney, who was the only Republican who voted to impeach Trump, convict Trump. Why would that be?
Marlene, I'm just curious. Do you think we're going to actually see prosecutions of some of these very senior officials in the Obama regime? Are we going to see Andy McCabe, James Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Hillary, Obama? Are we going to see them in handcuffs? Or do you think that the Democrats and the media are going to succeed? Because they are desperately, furiously now trying to bury this story. They're going after Gabbard. They're trying to delegitimize her, destroy her, attack her viciously. They keep going on about the Epstein files. They don't want to cover this. They refuse to even cover the press conference yesterday. They are furiously doing everything they can to try to sweep this under the rug. Are they going to succeed? Or do you think people will finally be held accountable? Will we get justice?
People will be held accountable because Trump is there only for a while. And this is it. This is the only chance we have. So I'm going to go with, yes, they will, because we need consequences. Consequences have to come up. We've been waiting that for 1 trillion years. So this is our only chance. So I'm going to say yes, 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 stay true. And I think that Rubio, since he sits beside the president all the time, he is speaking out, I think. I think he might be helping Gabbard. He knows a lot. I said that before in your show. You asked me once, well, aren't you voting for Rubio? He's Cuban, and you're Cuban. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm voting for Trump, and not just because he's Cuban. But I knew he was in the Gang of Eight, and I knew he knows a lot. I wouldn't pass anything by him.
I think that's a really good point. No, Maureen, it's a very perceptive point. Look, he was chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and they investigated the Russia collusion hoax. So, and a lot of this stuff was, behind closed doors, secret testimony, information is classified. He's not able to talk about it in public. I think Rubio knows where a lot of the bodies are buried. I agree with you. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's saying, no, you know what? Look at this. I heard from a little birdie, that there's this report. Really? Yeah. The CIA vault. Take a look. I'm positive that he is helping Trump and Gabbard. I don't know if he's the so-called, deep throat. I think it's someone else. But I agree with you. I think Rubio is helping them every step of the way. Because every time the Democrats and Obama in particular try to lie, Tulsi Gabbard has a counter with more evidence, more declassified documents, more proof. I mean, now it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. To me, I don't know how much more evidence you need. She's going to pour it on. Apparently there's now whistleblowers coming out. So she's just going to keep pouring it on and pouring it on and pouring it on. But we have more than enough evidence. I mean, we've got them. The only question now is will. Do we have the will? Do we have the courage, the bravery, to finally start putting handcuffs on some of these people? And that's Pam Bondi now. That's Kash Patel. Now they have to deliver. Marlene, thank you very much for that call. John in the great state of Texas. Thanks for holding, John, and welcome.
It sure is a great state. Listening to you live on TalkStream Live, you're always number one at this time slot. Just thought I'd...
thank you. Thank you, John.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, this is all a show. I'm not optimistic with this administration. The same administration pushing these mRNA jabs. How long is this going to sit on Pam's desk this time? What they should have done is they would have had all these criminal referrals on Pam's desk and then do some raiding of homes like Mar-a-Lago on Brennan, Clapper, Rice, McCabe, Comey, etc., all of them. And then the media would have been forced to cover this because it's not on mainstream still. None of this is. They're hiding it. You just said that yourself. So if they were really taking this seriously, we would have woken up in the morning, and I'm just a regular guy from Texas. It's not hard to figure out. We would have woke up one morning, turned on the news, and you'd see 10 people's houses raided in the middle of the morning when we were all sleeping and go to work to pay our taxes, okay? So I think this is all not – I think everybody's getting all hyped up and pumped up, and this is just another pony show, and I'm wondering which Republicans are going to be against this. I mean, it's just – how long is this going to sit on Pam's desk and give them time to bleach bit their hard drives and their Signal apps on their phones? Why did we find this out before they did the raiding? What raids? There's not going to be a raid. It's all a pony show, man. So I'll let you talk, Jeff.
John, let me ask you, do you think Tulsi Gabbard is part of the dog and pony show? I just want to sort of, because I agree with you. I would have gone, listen, I'm with you, man, all the way. I would have done the raids. I would have done the criminal referrals. I would have gone in with, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm serious. Would have tipped in Newsmax or whatever, somebody at Fox and have the cameras right there. Shock and awe. But I'm just curious. It seems to me that in many ways, Tulsi Gabbard is almost forcing Bondi to investigate and potentially prosecute. The way she just, she kept from the beginning. She's like, okay, no, we're not going to sweep this under the rug. Here is what I'm declassifying, and I've notified Pam Bondi and the DOJ. She keeps saying that. Then she said, I've put it, they should be indicted. They need to be prosecuted. Then she said, I'm sending a criminal referral. Then yesterday she said, I've sent the criminal referral about Obama. Okay, look, I love the point that John in Texas is making. He's asking the big question, is this all nothing but a dog and pony show in which, in the end, it's all full of sound and fury, as Shakespeare famously wrote, signifying nothing? Meaning, yes, it's making a lot of news. People are upset about it. It makes for riveting radio, riveting television. But in the end, if they were truly serious, wouldn't criminal referrals have already been sent out? Wouldn't arrests have already been made? Instead, they're telegraphing their move. And by telegraphing their move, they're giving these criminals time to destroy evidence, cover their tracks. John, I want to ask you, do you think Tulsi is part of the dog and pony show as well? Or, because, you may disagree with me, but it seems to me it's almost like she's trying to push, almost shame Pam Bondi into making arrests. Or am I wrong, John?
You're 100% right. You can pretty much gauge people by their reactions. You can look them in the face, and Tulsi's been all over the camera lately during all this. And you can also gauge when the enemy, when our enemies, and I'm going to call them enemies because they're the enemy of our country. Obviously, this is a treasonous behavior, and okay, let me go back. You can gauge it by the reaction of the bad guys, and they are going apoplectic right now. They're going completely nuts, and that kind of tells me that Tulsi really is, like you said, pushing this. But I think she got sawed down, and from the powers that be, and we'll take over from here. Thank you, Tulsi. We got it from here, and then they give us all this show on television. You give us all these press releases that we keep saying. This isn't the way to run an investigation if it's ongoing. There's just no way. I'm not buying any of this. I agree. Tulsi's the good guy, and she is pushing it, but I don't see it going any further. I don't. I'd love to wake up in the morning and see all those mass arrests. But no, they tipped their hand. They tipped their hat. They gave them ample time to destroy more evidence. And like I said, this is all coming from the same administrations that's still pushing these COVID jabs and all the mRNA that is killing people. So I don't know what to think. It's like a Tom Clancy book is what we're going through right now. Back to you, Jeff.
Well, John, that's why I got serious doubts about the DOJ, about Pam Bondi. And I've been, critical of her, and my criticism keeps growing and growing and growing. And to me, if we don't see arrests in the next 10 days to 2 weeks, I said it after Friday's document dump, but after yesterday, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, even a blind man, as one of our callers likes to say, even Ray Charles can see this now. Obama's guilty of sin. I mean, they've got him. They've got him 6 ways to Sunday. They've got Brennan. They've got Clapper. They've got Comey. They've got them all. I mean, that's what's incredible when you go through this. And she just keeps giving you more documents, and we're talking memos, emails. And I got to say, John, just, as an historian now, as an analyst, how stupid Obama is. Like, I never want to hear again how smart these people are. To put all this down in writing like this, to leave such a paper trail like this. I mean, yeah, they're very arrogant. They really thought they were going to be in power forever. But still, my God, they were stupid. I mean, careless, sloppy, stupid. This goes to court. They're finished. They're finished. John, I love your call. Thank you so much, my friend. 617-266-6868. CJ in Boston. Thanks for holding, CJ, and welcome.
Thank you very much for taking the call, Jeff.
My pleasure, CJ.
There was a gentleman, Frank E. McGurran, typewriter expert on the Remington typewriter. In 1889, he typed on that typewriter, "Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of the country." We've got 77 million people, at least, who voted for Donald Trump, and it's time that they get on the phone, call their elected officials, and demand that something be done regarding this. The problem that this administration has is giving the enemy, a.k.a. the Democratic Communist Party, heads up on the action that they may be thinking about taking. The arrest should have been made, and then they should have gone public with this. The downfall, if Donald Trump does not take action on this, what he will be putting a gold stamp on is that there is a double-tiered justice system in this country. That's why his administration needs to take decisive action to get the people involved in this and get them arrested. Obama being the former commander-in-chief, this warrants a military tribunal, not a civilian trial. It warrants a military tribunal where he needs to be tried in a military court for treason against the United States. This is what the Democratic Party has become, Jeff. You've got a communist, Mondani in New York, self-proclaimed communist running for the mayor of the city of New York. This is what's happened to our country. The Democrats are on an all-time low. If this is shown to be true and proven, and there are convictions, this will put the last remaining nail in the coffin of the Democratic Communist Party in this country. What they've done is they've not only tried to overturn an election, they try to put a president, a standing president of the United States, in jail on bogus charges. And we can talk all day long. We can talk until the cows come home about how governments like in Venezuela and other countries control the people. And talking about control, this could not have happened without the mainstream media. They pushed this. Now the president appoints the head of the FCC. The FCC needs to investigate these mainstream media outlets and to investigate their participation in this hoax and whether or not they knowingly participated in this hoax, and if so, take appropriate action against the mainstream media. I would just hope that anyone that cares about their country, regardless of your political affiliations, take a look at the mirror. Take a look in the mirror. Take a look in the mirror and see what your country has become, especially the Democrats out there. It's become a country where who you vote for doesn't matter. Because if they win, you have people in this country who want to put them in jail on bogus charges. So, in ending, I would just like to say this, Jeff. Trump and his administration needs to be quiet, make arrests, and take appropriate action to have every one of these people who were involved in this hoax, in the overthrow of the President of the United States, that they be held fully accountable.
CJ, I couldn't agree with you more. Really, absolutely. Not 100, 1,000%. And look, if we don't get justice now, 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, just super quick, because CJ made the point that, and John in Texas as well, that you're looking at people close to Obama himself, but even someone like Brennan, as an enemy of the United States and as an enemy of the American people. And that these are essentially communist thugs. And what we're watching is a slow motion, or what we were watching until Trump stopped them, was a slow motion communist revolution. Now, a lot of people don't know this about Brennan. Brennan was a card-carrying member of the Communist Party. This is beyond dispute. He admitted it himself. In 1976, now remember, this is the man that would eventually become the director of the freaking CIA. In 1976, Brennan thought that Jimmy Carter was not radical or liberal enough. And so he voted for Gus Hall. Well, look it up. You want to know who Gus Hall is? Gus Hall was the leader of the American Communist Party, which, by the way, had direct ties to the Kremlin, then, the Soviet Union. It was a mouthpiece for Soviet Russia, for the commies. So, and they didn't hide it. They said, no, we support the Soviet Union. We are an agent. They said, we're an agent of the Kremlin. And Brennan voted for Gus Hall. So this is the man they allowed to become the chief spy master of the United States? Now, just very quickly, again, as an historian, I just want to show you that they would leave such an obvious paper trail is so reckless. It almost borders on the pathological. This is from 617. Okay, this is a text I got, very good text, about maybe 10 minutes ago. You can text us 70470. Jeff, why did they leave a paper trail? Because they are psychopaths. They squirreled away those intelligence reports in the CIA vault for the same reason serial killers keep bits of clothing of their victims. They love the trophies. When I was the editor of Insight magazine, I had a writer. He was a Russian dissident. He was a brilliant writer. His name was Andrei Piankovsky. And by the way, he wrote a brilliant book on Putin called Looking Inside Putin's Soul. And he had great sources within the Kremlin. Long story short, you think Vladimir Putin would ever be stupid enough to leave behind a trail where he orders the spying on a political opponent, or the murder or assassination or the execution of an opponent? Putin would never be that dumb. And to give you an example, remember one of the famous dissidents that he killed? It was a guy called Litvinenko. It was at a sushi bar in London. And they dropped like some radioactive capsule in his drink. They nuked the guy. They practically, a little mini nuke in a coffee cup. And Piankovsky had a source right there in the Kremlin. And this is how it came about. Litvinenko was going to blow the whistle, allegedly, that Putin in 1999, when he was running for president of Mother Russia, that he needed a war to win. He was down in the polls. And so he ordered his FSB friends to blow up these apartments in Moscow, which killed Russian civilians. But then he pinned it on the Chechens, saying, look what they've done, this terrorist atrocity, basically a false flag. And then he said, I'm going to lead a war now against Chechnya to punish them for what they've done. So Litvinenko was going to blow the whistle on this. So this was at Putin's, he's now president. It's been a couple of years now he's in office. And Litvinenko says, I've got the goods and I'm going to release it. At Putin's birthday party, where, the vodka was flowing, he's with his top henchmen. And this is how things are done. He doesn't write a memo. He doesn't stand there and write emails a la Obama. We're going to frame Donald Trump, okay? We're going to manufacture intelligence. I want a new intelligence community assessment. We're going to say he was in bed with the Russians. He colluded with the Russians. They helped him win. So suppress all the other evidence and go and follow my line. No, Putin is too smart for that. He tells the people, his henchmen around him, literally as they're drinking vodka. And he says, with a smile, almost like he's joking, someone needs to take Litvinenko, I can't say the S word on the air, to the crap house, to the outhouse, okay, to the excrement house. He goes, someone needs to take him out there. And everyone's like, okay, message registered. And a couple of weeks later, bye-bye, they nuked the guy. He didn't put it down in writing. Now, this is Moscow. This is Russia. Putin thinks he's going to be in power till he dies. And even he's smart enough. You don't leave any evidence behind. You never know what could happen. Now, the most infamous, just one more quick point. Most people don't know this. Hitler never left behind a paper trail regarding the Holocaust. He never did. Now, remember, this was his big racial project to extermination of the Jews. The closest thing we have, even that was verbal, the closest thing we have to proof that Hitler directly ordered the Holocaust, which of course he did, was the infamous Wannsee Conference, 1942 in Germany. Long story short, Hitler's top Nazi officials meet. Okay, it's now early 1942. The war is not going in the East like they thought. And now they're meeting, and Reinhard Heydrich, who is basically the number two, considered to be the eventual successor to Hitler, he oversees this conference. And he says now the Fuhrer has made a big decision about the Jewish question. And basically that's where they really conclude. We're going to go all out annihilation, all out extermination, a wide system of concentration camps, death camps. We're going to annihilate the Jews. We're going to kill every single one of them. And of course, a lot of the Nazi heads, not on moral grounds, but they're arguing like, well, whoa. This is going to distract a lot of resources. This is, the people on the economy side are saying, hey, come on, we need these Jewish people as workers. The military people are saying, so we're going to divert trains and equipment for this when our boys are dying on the Eastern Front. So they're not happy with this decision, not because they love the Jews, but they're saying we haven't won the war yet. This is going to put a tremendous burden on us. One of the key people at that meeting says, do you have the Fuhrer's approval for this? Like, this is a huge new step now. We're not just going from persecuting Jews and harassing Jews and killing them here, killing them there. You're talking now about a systematic annihilation of an entire people that is going to consume a lot of our war effort while we're in the middle of a war fighting Russia, Britain, and America. Like, is this you, Reinhard? Or is this coming straight from the boss, the Fuhrer? And then he says, because I just saw him in Berlin a couple of weeks ago. And I asked Hitler, I said, this is killing us with international media, that we are massacring Jews on the Eastern Front. And this is killing our reputation abroad. And so I asked the Fuhrer, I said, is this our official policy? That we're just now going to annihilate and exterminate Jews? And he said, the Fuhrer told me that this is not our policy and this will never be our policy. So are you sure this is coming from Hitler? And Heydrich, you can look it up, it's in the transcript, famously says, that's his public position, and that will always have to be his public position. If you understand my double meaning. Wink, wink. In other words, he's lying. He's lying to you. The lie he's giving to you is the lie he's telling the world. That's his public position. And that's the public position that it always will have to be. Like, in other words, do you get it? So he's not going to say that's our official position. He's never going to say that's our official position. But I'm here to tell you on his behalf, this is what the Fuhrer wants. Now we're going to do what the Fuhrer wants. So don't grumble, don't complain. Don't tell me we can't. Tell me, how are we going to do this? Now, that is where the Holocaust was really masterminded. And this is as close as historians have ever gotten. Clearly, Hitler masterminded it. There's no doubt about it. But that's as close of, if you want a kind of a smoking gun. But even then, nothing was ever written on paper. Now, I just want to understand this. We're talking about a totalitarian one-party regime. Remember, it was going to be 1,000-year Reich. It was going to last for 1,000 years. And they still said, no, you don't put something like this down on paper. You're an absolute moron if you do. It could fall in the wrong hands. It could be leaked. I don't know. We may lose the war. So what I'm saying is, to be that stupid, that to me is what's staggering, and that arrogant, to put down on paper your actual plot and conspiracy to frame Trump as an agent of Russia. I'm telling you, Brennan's not too bright, Clapper's not too bright, Comey's not too bright, Obama's not too bright. Well, Joe Biden, we all know about that. I mean, really, this is like, it's not the Three Stooges. It's like the 10 Stooges. Like, these people are stupid. And their stupidity now is what's going to, and their arrogance, is what's going to bring them down. And they've only got one thing left. They've got one thing left. The pure complicity of the media. The only thing that is keeping Obama now standing is that CBS News, ABC News, NBC News, this is CNN, MSNBC, they either are not carrying this story, reporting on it whatsoever, or they're deliberately poo-pooing it. These are crazy conspiracy theories. What the hell? This is bizarre on the part of Tulsi Gabbard. So, to show you how bad it is, okay? One quick cut. As Tulsi Gabbard is doing her press conference yesterday, and she begins to outline the links that the Obama administration went to, okay, the blow by blow, to manufacture the Russia collusion hoax and to frame Trump. The anchor then says, pull away. Pull away. CNN deliberately cuts away and ends its coverage. Ends its coverage. Saying, no, we don't want you to see this now. You can't, God forbid you should see this. Listen now. This is CNN cutting away right at the moment that Tulsi Gabbard outlines exactly how, where, and when Obama ordered the Russia collusion hoax. Roll cut 6, Mike.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th...
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents, to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation that President Obama is guilty of treason and that he worked in some sort of conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, etc., in the assessment by the intelligence community at the time that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
Unbelievable. Now, she's at December 5th. He couldn't wait till December 9th because December 9, 2016 is that infamous meeting. And she's starting to get there. And like, whoa, okay, now pull away now. Pull away. These are extreme allegations. Whoa. That's the only thing keeping him up. It doesn't matter. Truth is truth is truth. And Tulsi Gabbard has the receipts. Keith in the great state of Ohio. Thanks for holding, Keith, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hi,
Glad
Keith.
to hear you again today. I moved from Massachusetts last year. I'm glad I'm out of a liberal land, that's for sure. I just wanted to say that don't worry. Trump has his team. Don't worry about Cash and Bongino and Bondi. They cannot do anything until they clean out these traitors. Watch the news every single day. They get somebody, and who pops up? Judge Boasberg. What are they going to do when they get Obama or Hillary or Brennan or any of these people? Put them in front of a judge like that? No. Those judges will be removed after we win the midterms. But until then, it's going to be exactly what you are, an educator. He is educating the whole country on what has been going on. We are aware of it, us that listen to you and in your audience, but the rest of the country isn't, and they are learning a little bit at a time. If they don't watch CNN, they'd learn a little faster. But just constant, again and again and again, this is the information that's coming out to educate everyone. The exposure of the crimes. The accountability will be coming. People will go to jail. Some of them might not make it. They might take the easy way out. We don't know. And you never know. They might just leave the country and go back to their country of origin where they came from. I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm just saying there's a lot of things out there, and I believe that everything is going to be okay because in the end, God wins. It's going to be all right.
Oh, the hand of God. I agree with you, Keith. That's always, to me, the big wild card. You can never, ever predict the hand of God. And I believe it was the hand of God that saved Trump. I do. I believe it was the hand of God that put him back in the White House for a second term. And I got to tell you, this so far, what's being revealed, that's the hand of God. Again, I know we knew this, but this is rare that you get smoking gun documents like this. This is, again, I don't want to keep overbeating this analogy to death, but this is, it's like I see the lipstick on his collar. I smell perfume on him. I'm going through his phone. Who is this woman that he's constantly texting with? He's coming home late. Friends and family have told me he keeps seeing this, he's with this blonde over and over again. Okay, it's pretty obvious he's having an affair. But here's a picture of your husband naked in bed with his mistress. Like, here it is. That's what we have now. It's irrefutable. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's what Tulsi Gabbard has now delivered. And notice, Obama didn't open his big mouth again yesterday. Did you notice? When she did the first document dump, remember his office said, this is bizarre, weak, outrageous. She said, really? Okay, well, now there's going to be a second document dump. After yesterday, he's got nothing left to say because there's nothing to say. He's guilty of sin. Keith, thank you very much for that call. Natalie in Lunenburg. Thanks for holding, Natalie, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, in light of what you just said there, it might seem as though truth and justice has the whip in their hand, but I'm pessimistic. I think it's still a David and Goliath situation. I have a couple of questions for you. So recently the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Donald Trump and presidential immunity. Don't you think Obama's going to utilize that, or is there a difference here?
Well, I think there's a big difference because the immunity is for your core functions as president of the United States. What Obama did, how is this a core function of his duty as to frame your opponent? To frame the incoming president as an agent of Russia, and that you knowingly lied and essentially ordered a coup to overthrow him? Like, how does that fall under the purview of President of the United States? You see, to me, I would read it like this, and you may disagree with me, Natalie, but for example, when Obama ordered that drone strike that took out Anwar Awlaki, who was a U.S. citizen, well, I think the Supreme Court would say, no, that would fall under presidential immunity. He believed he was a terrorist. He believed he was a threat. He ordered a drone strike. There was no due process or anything like that. And, he killed him. Well, you can't prosecute him for that because that fell under his duty as a president. But how does this fall under the duty as president of the United States? To order your intelligence community to literally lie and claim that that Putin helped Trump and that Trump colluded with Putin when your own intelligence community clearly told you that wasn't the case? So it would be very hard for Obama to argue that. Natalie, there's more I want to talk to you about. If you can just hang on, I'm up against a hard break. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, let's go right back to Natalie in Lunenburg. Natalie, you asked a really good question. Can Obama use the Trump famous Supreme Court case about presidential immunity to get out of it? Can he somehow wiggle away from going to jail over this? Now, we'll see. I don't think he can. I don't think how this falls under his core responsibilities. But, Natalie, let's just say for the sake of argument, he has to rely on presidential immunity. It's a damning admission of guilt on his part. Even if he's not, doesn't go to jail. If he's got to say, okay, fine, I'm guilty, but you just can't touch me because I was president at the time, his reputation will never recover. And number one. Number two, it doesn't prevent Hillary. She's not covered under presidential immunity, or Brennan, or Comey, or Clapper, or McCabe, or Susan Rice. You could run down the list. So what I'm saying is they can still lock a lot of people up. The question is, does Pam Bondi have what it takes to do it? Natalie, what say you?
I'm skeptical on that, and that leads to my second skepticism of any justice in this matter. Am I incorrect or am I correct? Do these charges not have to be brought forth before a grand jury in the District of Columbia? Because do you think a grand jury in that district would ever indict any of these characters? I don't.
Well, I think they would try to move it to Florida or Texas or, get it out of Virginia or wherever. You're right. I think they don't want to keep it in D.C. But Natalie, you're saying even if we had someone that was eager, you think this will probably end up in front of a D.C. grand jury, and it is so partisan, so pro-Democrat that they wouldn't indict. I mean, they wouldn't indict Attila the Hun if they had, if Attila was a Democrat, correct?
Yeah, this is like, going after Trump for eating a slice of pepperoni on Good Friday. They'll go after him with everything they have. These guys and the weight of evidence, Jeff, tell me I'm wrong, But every fiber of my being is saying, no, it'll be buried, suppressed, and these guys are going to skate and they're going to laugh about it. And the media is just going to bury it. They're going to suppress it like they always have. What's going to change?
Just honestly, Natalie, this is what's moving the needle right now. Trump wants indictments. Trump is ready to put these people to jail. He controls, through Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, obviously, but he controls the Department of Justice. He controls the FBI, and he now controls the intelligence community through Tulsi Gabbard. And she has served them up on a silver platter. You want to talk about a slam dunk? She's given them now a slam dunk. So what I'm saying is, if Trump, he's going to war. If Trump wants to go to war and he wants to finish off his enemies, she's given him all the ammunition he needs to do it. So that's why they're worried. See, Natalie, the thing is, you can tell by their reaction. They're panicking. Obama's in a full panic. Here, I'll play you the cut. James Clapper is already lawyered up. Clapper is scared out of his mind. Clapper knows it. They got him on perjury. Just on perjury alone, they've got him. Never mind the more serious crimes. Comey is now white as a ghost. He's going berserk on social media. Apparently, Brennan's already developed an ulcer. I'm not kidding. They say apparently he's got stomach issues. He's got a bad ulcer now. So they're panicking because she delivered it. This is what's different this time is you've got the documents, emails, memos. I mean, you've got it all. Declassified documents. You've got their signatures. Really, it's the only thing they didn't say was, we are guilty. I mean, she's got him 6 ways to Sunday. That's why they're nervous. That's why, to be honest, Natalie, the talk in Washington now is someone may be willing to cop a plea. There could be talk of a plea deal. And I think Trump would even take that, even if it meant, say, like no prison time. But just the admission of guilt alone would savage the Democratic Party and the deep state. A final word to you, Natalie.
50 years on, Watergate is this horrible, horrible scandal. It brought down Nixon. The Democrats are still crowing about it. What did he do? I mean, seriously? Think about it. With the hindsight of 50 years, it's like, he did what? He was in trouble for what? Covering up a 2-bit break-in that he didn't know anything about at the time. And it's like, this is unbelievable what we just regularly accept right now. We've been conditioned like that slowly boiling frog to just accept all of this corruption. And I'm thinking that maybe Clapper, maybe Brennan, McCabe, they might get indicted. They're old, out to pasture white men. Nobody cares anymore. Yeah, we'll sacrifice them to preserve the deer later. Yeah, that's my best case scenario. I hope I'm wrong, Jeff. Tell me I'm wrong.
Natalie, I don't want to say you're wrong. Because I don't have confidence in either Kash Patel or Pam Bondi. But look, to me, if we could get Brennan, Comey, and Clapper, that would be incredible. Look, I want the dear leader. Don't get me wrong. But even that, who's been arrested ever for the Democrats? Whoever goes to jail? Nobody. So, I'm like, can't we just arrest and put somebody in jail? Somebody? So that at least people in the deep state, these criminals, know there are some possible consequences? So they'll think twice the next time and won't do it again? 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, very, very quick. You got to hear this. You got to hear it to believe it. So, ironically, you want to see how dumb they were? Like, if you want Comey, Brennan, Clapper, the Three Stooges, okay? You want to see how dumb the Three Stooges were? This is Clapper on CNN in 2018, where he inadvertently actually admits that Obama ordered the intelligence community assessment that we now know was a massive lie and that Obama was setting Trump up as an agent of Russia, that this was the order that set up this false narrative of the Russia collusion hoax. Now, of course, he doesn't say it's false, but he actually says, oh, yeah, no, this was all Obama. This was all, everything we're talking, Russia collusion, it's all because of Obama. He actually damns Obama now in retrospect. Listen now to this. Roll cut 4, Mike.
One point I'd like to make, Anderson, I don't think has come up very much before, and I'm alluding now to the president's criticism of President Obama for all that he did or didn't do before he left office with respect to the Russian meddling. If it weren't for President Obama, we might not have done the intelligence community assessment that we did that set off a whole sequence of events which are unfolding today, notably Special Counsel Mueller's investigation. President Obama is responsible for that, and it was he who tasked us to do that intelligence community assessment in the first place. I think that's an important point when it comes to critiquing President Obama.
This is incredible. This is incredible. So he's even, that's how dumb he is. So he's like, no, listen, hey. The reason why we're even talking about Trump-Russia collusion, it's because of the dear leader. He's the one that said, do the intelligence community assessment. Yeah, guys, you got, hey, this is what I want you guys to do. You ordered us to do this. I swear, you can't make this up. Now, the evidence is now, it's damning, it's overwhelming, it's clearly irrefutable. There's no question now. So this is how the media is now attacking Tulsi Gabbard. If you don't have the facts, if you don't have the evidence, if you don't have the law, then you have to go after character. You got to go ad hominem. You've got to go personal. You got to go low. You got to go dirty. So CNN rolls out Caitlin Collins. And what she is she's a political assassin. All she does now, that's all she does is hit job after hit job. So they roll out this liar and this propagandist. CNN does at the Tulsi Gabbard White House presser yesterday. And if you remember, there was a clash between Tulsi and Trump during the Israel-Iran war, whereby initially Tulsi said, well, I'm not so sure that we have the evidence that Iran is now fully committed to a nuclear weapons program. And then she explained it more in detail. But there was a bit of friction between her and Trump for about 24, 48 hours. So listen now how CNN and the media now is trying to spin this. Roll cut 3A. And just so that you know, Caroline Leavitt is right beside Tulsi. And she will jump in to defend Tulsi because now the argument is, you're just trying to suck up to Trump. Isn't that why you're releasing all of this classified information? It's because you weren't in good graces with Trump, and now you want to get back into his good graces. This is all about you wanting Trump's approval, isn't it? Roll cut 3A. Mike.
What would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing these documents now to improve your standing with the president after he said that your intelligence assessments were wrong?
The only people who are suggesting that the director of national intelligence would release evidence to try to boost her standing with the president are the people in this room who constantly try to sow distrust and chaos amongst the president's cabinet, and it is not working.
I mean, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. So this is about improving your standing with Trump. Now, notice, okay? Again, what does this have to do with the overwhelming evidence that she presented yesterday? Whatever Tulsi Gabbard's motives are, she wants to suck up to Trump. She wants to reestablish a warm relationship with him, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Whether she's doing it out of noble patriotic reasons or because she wants her boss to like her again, the facts are the facts. The evidence is the evidence. The crimes are the crimes. The treason is the treason. Like, hello? But this is what I mean. This is what passes for journalism today. So I want to ask all of you. It is the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Mario's. Mario's Quality Roofing, Siding, and Windows. Did DNI Tulsi Gabbard release the Russiagate intelligence reports because A, she believes in transparency, or B, she is trying to get in good with President Trump, which is what now the media is trying to claim. So, A, transparency, B, sucking up to Trump. To me, I think it's pretty obvious. She's basically putting her entire life on the line, and the media is going to eat this poor woman alive. I don't think it's to suck up to Trump. I think it's clear. She's a patriot who is speaking truth to power. But that's me, transparency. I think it's A all the way, but I want to hear from you. A, transparency. B, sucking up to Trump. You can vote on our webpage, wrko.com/Kuhner, wrko.com/Kuhner, KUHN as in National ER. As always, you can vote on X. Again, last night I was very active on X, exposing what Tulsi had revealed and Obama's and Hillary's nefarious role in all of this. So if you want to vote via X, my handle there, at the Kuhner Report, all one word, KUHN as in National ER. Alex in the Freedom State, Florida. Thanks for holding, Alex, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for taking my call again. I appreciate it.
My pleasure,
Alex. I appreciate the fact that you take my call no matter what I have to talk about from previous calls. But the thing is, Trump, I don't know, it's like he keeps making horrible decisions on attorney generals. I just don't get it. And I don't know if you recall back to the O.J. Simpson trial, where once they acquitted him, the juror came out, and I can remember it like it was yesterday, and I'm still gagging from it, where she came out and she said, "I think we made the right decision." She was a horrible actor. Pam Bondi's the same thing. When I heard her say, "Oh, this is President Trump, and we are going to release all the documents because he..."
Alex, please hang on. I'm up against a break. Alex is basically, arguing, and I think it's a very good, very, very valid concern. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, my friends, I want to go right back to Alex in Florida, but just before I do, brilliant text, absolutely brilliant text. You can text us 70470, and I think this is what Obama now is really relying on. And I think it's Brennan, it's Clapper, it's Comey, Biden to a lesser extent, Hillary, there's no question now, which is the propaganda media or the state-run media, whatever you want to call it. And this is what 508 says. Jeff, remember when under the Obama administration, the Smith-Mundt Act was gutted, which then made it lawful for the government, which includes the CIA or the intelligence community, to propagandize, i.e. lie, within the United States and to its citizens, including directly employing the media. I believe this was Obama's foresight into the future when he might need an insurance policy, a legal defense for his crimes to come. And I agree. I think there's no question. There's no question now. They're not arguing the evidence, if you've noticed. Now they're trying to avoid it, ignore it, bury it, sweep it under the rug, pretend it's not happening, or just call it a conspiracy theory, or attack Tulsi Gabbard, her motives. Remember, Hillary called her a Russian asset. She also called, remember, Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate. She was also a Russian asset. Remember, Tucker Carlson was a Russian asset. Steve Bannon was a Russian asset. Do you remember I was a Russian asset? Do you remember that? So that's all they have now are these slanderous, libelous, defamatory attacks. But that can only go so far. Now, what are they going to do now when you have whistleblowers coming out today and tomorrow? What are they going to say then? In other words, it's just going to get worse and worse. Very quickly, because Alex is holding and I want to go to him. You want to know how serious this is now getting? I want you to listen to this. They're running on CNN. Okay? Clapper is now, former DNI, James Clapper, goes on CNN and says, I've already got a lawyer. He goes, I'm going to get prosecuted by the DOJ. I can see it. It's coming. Roll cut 7, Mike.
Do you have concerns that they will attempt to prosecute you?
Well, certainly I do. After 8.5 years of this, and I don't know of an intelligence product that was more scrutinized, more investigated than that product was by numerous people. It's very disconcerting. It really is. And I take seriously when the President of the United States accuses me of being a participant in a treasonous conspiracy, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, what's your reaction to that?
It's ridiculous. It is untrue.
So what will you do if they come after you? What is your plan?
Well, I'll lawyer up, I suppose. Already have.
You've already hired attorneys in anticipation that this Trump Justice Department could try to prosecute you.
We've had sort of perpetual attorneys since I left the government in 2017.
So there you go. Listen, and notice, does this guy look to you like an innocent? Does he sound to you like an innocent man? By the way, this guy who's repeatedly lied under oath, there's no question. This incorrigible, pathological liar. No, and I got to tell you, he looks defeated. He sounds defeated. You can break Clapper. You're going to break McCabe. You can break Comey. You can break Brennan. You can break Clapper. So one of them is going to flip, and all you need is one. And when one flips, it's like a domino. Then the first one falls, and everyone else starts to fall after it. All right, let's go back to Alex in Florida. Thank you for holding, Alex. Alex, you were making some very, very good points. Will a jury have the common sense and the courage to make a conviction? And even more than that, Pam Bondi, is she a serious prosecutor? Because this is the greatest scandal in American history. Does she have the depth, the fortitude, the intelligence, the courage, the skills, the lawyerly skills to go through with this prosecution and win it? Or are we going to look at another O.J. Simpson fiasco? Please, Alex, pick up where you left off.
Hey, Jeff, what I was trying to say is I recall the juror from the O.J. Simpson trial, and I'm comparing her to Bondi. When after they gave O.J. an acquittal, she said, I think they interviewed her, and she said, I think we made the right decision. And you could tell she was insincere. And when I heard the media ask Pam Bondi if they're going to release the Epstein files, this was a month ago, she said, yes, Donald Trump's going to keep to all of his campaign promises, and it's Donald Trump, and yes, we are going to release them. She seemed so insincere, like she was a very bad actress. And I can't help but to believe that they already showed her the evidence of Obama and them with all the Russia hoax, and she is not going after it and after them. And I can't help but to think that possibly Tulsi Gabbard is now taking it on herself to show the evidence to everybody, but it's not going to matter. And I'm disappointed that Trump can't seem to get a good attorney general. I don't know what his problem is.
No, I agree. No, Alex, listen, I think you put your finger right on it. Look, I love the guy. And I think he's one of the greatest, maybe even now the greatest president in American history. I don't know. It's still debatable, but he's certainly way at the top. I've never seen the first 6 months. We just passed the 6-month mark. The only other president they're comparing him to is FDR. And I don't want to get sidetracked. I want to stay on topic, but look at the first 6 months. The first 100 days, they said, oh my God, what did, FDR passed all this flurry of legislation, but most of it didn't work. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to get into the Great Depression now, but just give me 10 seconds. The New Deal never got us out of the Depression. The New Deal was an absolute failure. It never restored growth. It never restored high employment. It never got us it never gave us economic recovery. The New Deal was a disaster. It failed. I'm telling you, I'm stating the facts. Look at unemployment when FDR came into power. Look at unemployment nearly 8 years later when we go to war. Actually, 9 years later when we go to war, World War II. The unemployment rate never got higher. Never got lower. Forgive me. Employment never got higher. So, yes, a lot of things were passed. If you're just looking for volume, yeah, okay. But if you're looking for volume and effectiveness, this is Trump. It's not just that he's done a lot. It's almost everything he's done is incredibly successful and incredibly effective. So what I'm saying is, I love the guy. I think he's another. Can you imagine? We got 3.5 more years of this. But he's got a weakness. He's got an Achilles heel. There's a weakness. Every strength has a weakness. Every weakness has a strength. For whatever reason, that AG slot continues to haunt him. And frankly, FBI director. I don't know what it is. Whether it was Sessions and then Bill Barr and now Pam Bondi. Now, to be fair, I'm not going to close the book on her. I'll tell you why. Because she may go ahead and issue indictments. She may go ahead and actually charge people. To me, I look at this in a sports analogy. This is her Super Bowl now. She's the starting quarterback. Can she take her team to victory? Can she get the job done? Now, if she blinks on this, she has to go. She has to go. And this is not even a tough call. And let me just say one other thing, because this is very important. Tulsi Gabbard is not just bringing the receipts, at tremendous personal cost, and at really the risk of her life. You asked who's willing to take on the entire deep state? She is. Who's willing to take on the entire Obama, Clinton, Biden machine? And the entire media to boot? She is. Okay? That's one tough lady, man. That's a tough cookie. I admire her. I respect her. But it's almost like you can never do overkill, right? When you have evidence of treason, you always want more and more. But what I'm saying is there's so much now that she's putting on the table. It's almost like she's shaming Bondi. As I said earlier, it's almost like she's pushing her, like, come on. And it's not just the evidence that she's rolling out. If you listen now to some of her press conferences and her media interviews, it's like, well, yeah, no, I'm going to the DOJ. She keeps saying it. I'm issuing a criminal referral. Yes, I have. There needs to be prosecutions. There need to be indictments. Then she's saying, no, and on Obama, I've issued a criminal referral. She's got to indict him. So it's almost like I'm going to push her and push her and push her, or at least shame her that, come on, do the right thing and start indicting people. So, we'll see if it works, but you can tell Bondi's reluctant. There's no question. And Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, well, those guys, seriously. I don't think much of them. But it's clear Trump and Gabbard and J.D. Vance in the back. Just so that you know, in the back, J.D. Vance is backing Trump and Tulsi Gabbard all the way. But publicly, it's Trump and Tulsi. They're driving this. 617-266-6868 is the number. Susan in Ashland, thanks for holding. Oh, sorry, Suzanne, my bad. Suzanne in Ashland, thanks for holding, Suzanne, and welcome.
Jeff, good morning. How are you today?
I'm very good. How are you, Suzanne?
Couldn't be better. Jeff, this feels different to me in so many ways. One of your callers said earlier where everyone's conditioned for things to be the way they've been, the lying and the covering up, and it's led to disappointment on the right, and it's led to, the left just going along with the headline and the lies. This, to me, feels like there's some empathy involved for Americans in that they're spoons. They have the goods. This is different. It's lock, stock, and barrel done in terms of the evidence. But it feels to me like they are gently introducing this evidence and let people get comfortable in people who have been, have the Trump derangement syndrome, to get their heads around the fact that they have been lied to, as we all know, the MAGA and the Kuhner crowd, for the last 10 years plus. So it's really a conditioning for the turnaround that's about to come. And I would say this. I wonder if with the Congress going on break, that this is so serious. And when you listen to Trump, if you're really listening to Trump, he's throwing signals to MAGA country every day. What his comment about Hillary. We let her go the first time. I just felt it wasn't right. And now he's signaling otherwise. So what if this is condition them with the proof, and I still feel that they have somewhere, somehow, very soon, the emails from Hillary's illegal server are going to come to the front burner. But let that go. I think they're conditioning everybody for what's about to happen in the month of August while Congress is on vacation.
Well, I think, Suzanne, I think you're making absolutely outstanding points. And I can only piggyback off of what you're saying. You know who else is pushing the email server, Hillary's email server, and says, no, we're going to go back and we got to revisit this? Tulsi Gabbard. And so now I just want to ask everybody this. This is what many of you are saying on the text line, and I'm starting to agree with you. Objectively now, just stand back. Who is Donald Trump? Yes, MAGA, America first, right? I two-time, second term, very successful president. But remember, for most of his life, what was he? He was a Democrat. He's only been a Republican much later in his life. Now, Tulsi Gabbard. What's Tulsi Gabbard? Another one, former Democrat. She's been a Democrat for most of her life. Now, I don't want to get sidetracked, but, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., it's just because this is such a massive, monumental scandal. I haven't had a chance to get into everything that Robert F. Kennedy is accomplishing as Health and Human Services Secretary, MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. But man, this guy is delivering. This guy's a closer. He doesn't mess around. What's Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? He's a former Democrat. What I'm saying is, we always say, well, what would Democrats do? And say what you want. Democrats play smash mouth football. Democrats, when they say they're going to indict, they indict. When Democrats say they're going after you, they go after you. It's only the Republicans talk, and nothing comes of it. And that's why, as you were mentioning, Suzanne, we're always constantly disappointed. But this time, as you put it, something feels different. I want to read to you, Suzanne, a brilliant text that I got, 917. And I think this is the checkmate argument. Jeff, if Barack Hussein Obama and his seditious administration don't get indicted, arrested, and prosecuted for treason, then we are no longer a serious country. Just ask yourself, to all of you, please listen to this. Just ask yourself, if this situation was reversed and it was Trump, not Obama, what do you think would happen to Trump? Let me, seriously, 917, you're a genius. Do you understand that? You're a genius, okay? IQ guaranteed 140 and above. I'm telling you, you're a genius. Now, just let me ask you, Suzanne, let me ask everybody in the audience. Flip it. It's all the same information, everything, except it wasn't Obama who ordered it, it was Trump. Everything else the same. Everything else. What do you think the Democrats would do to Trump? Smash mouth football. He would be in handcuffs. I mean, they'd hang him from the freaking White House. They'd lynch the guy. He would be arrested. His vice president would be arrested. His national security advisor would be arrested. His CIA director, FBI director, his DNI, they would all be swinging from the legal trees. Like, who are we kidding? Oh, my God. Remember, they drove Nixon out of office over nothing. A third-rate burglary he didn't even order, didn't even know it took place, until after it happened. And they drove the guy out of office. What do you think they would do if this was Trump? He's finished. He's finished. So why this time does this smell different? Sense just seems different. You sense it's different. You got a former Democrat who's now in the White House. You've got a former Democrat who's the DNI. And they're not coming to play. In other words, if this was Trump, the Democrats would have finished him. Now Trump and Tulsi, they're playing to win. They're going for the throat. And I think that's what's starting to seem different to everybody. And it's the same old rhino establishment Republicans who speak out of both sides of their mouth, who are unwilling to go through with this, right? It's Kash Patel, it's Dan Bongino, it's Pam Bondi, always big mouth, big talk. Jim Jordan, he's a classic to me. Biggest mouth on Capitol Hill, nothing. This guy ever doesn't do a thing. But no, you want something done. You want to take somebody out, have a Democrat do it. Because they're serious. They don't play around. It's smash mouth football. Okay, I just punched, with punch, I punched my hand. It's a contact sport. Now, it's not just the evidence. It's the intensity of the evidence. It's the seriousness of the evidence. It's the determination behind the evidence. You can tell for the first time, I've never seen it like this, the Democrats and the media are genuinely afraid. Suzanne, final word to you.
Jeffrey, I envision that this is so, like you said, it's so serious and so it is different. Congress is on vacation coming up. What's to say that Trump, has the goods, takes it off Pam Bondi's plate, and just calls in the military to make these arrests in military tribunal, because it's treason in the highest order.
Suzanne, to the texter's point, if it wasn't Obama who ordered this, just indulge me, it was Trump. Everything else is the same. What do you think would have happened to him by now?
He put away for life, for sure.
Suzanne, thank you very much for that call. 617-266-6868 is the number. Is the texter wrong? Am I wrong? All of you, honestly, you're listening to the show. Same exact thing, just flip it. Trump instead of Obama. The Democrats now, what would they have done by now? By now. Just, 6 days. Remember, she declassified everything late last week. So what is that, a week from now? A week past, forgive me, it's been a week. What do you think in 1 week would have happened? There would have been indictments, charges, arrests, subpoenas. My God. I mean, they'd be all be getting rounded up. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, very quick because I want to go to the blazing phone lines. This is a personal text that my wonderful sister out in Tucson, Arizona sent me, Jen, and I agree with her. I completely agree with her. Here's what she wrote me. Jeff, look what they managed to do to Trump with made-up information. Imagine if they had a quarter of what they have now on Obama. The Democrats would be sending Trump to alligator Alcatraz. And she's got a couple of laughing emojis beside it. I'm like, it's true. Really, it's true. I mean, really, right? I mean, if it was reversed and, a quarter, not even what we have on Obama now, just a quarter, 25%. He's already arrested? He's already in alligator Alcatraz. 617-266-6868. Scott in Revere. Thanks for holding, Scott, and welcome.
I love you in a non-sexual way, my friend.
Scott, I missed you, buddy. Thank you for that. What's on your mind, my friend?
Oh, Jeff, I'll tell you, the Democrats' heads, they must be spinning. Because who did it take to put Democrats behind bars? Democrats. Isn't that great? Tell me that they're kicking their tuchus, right? Isn't that fantastic? But, honest to God, Jeff, Pam Bondi, I'm starting to get nervous. First, I was all gung-ho with Pam Bondi. I was, yeah. Guess what? I might have been wrong. And I think Trump was too. And I think a lot of people were wrong. Because I was happy when she made it through. Remember all that? They kicked the first guy out. I forgot that he's a House member.
Matt Gaetz. Yeah, remember they
Matt Gaetz,
they didn't want Gaetz, and then he went to Bondi. And but look, Scott, this is her Super Bowl. She wins us the Super Bowl, everything's forgiven. You know what I'm saying, Scott? But she's got to win this one. If she doesn't win this one, Scott, we got to get a new starting quarterback, i.e., we need a new attorney general.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself, Jeff. I love you, baby. Have a great day.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. No, this is make or break for Pam Bondi now. There's no question. Look, let's do another quick reversal. Imagine it was Tulsi Gabbard as AG and not Pam Bondi. What, you think there'd be indictments? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, Obama would be frog-marched already. 617-266-6868. Kevin in Billerica. Thanks for holding, Kevin, and welcome.
Morning.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, so I'm a military guy. In the military for a while. And if I was ever suspected of treason, wouldn't I be under military jurisdiction and be held accountable in a military tribunal? Now, take Obama, who is the commander-in-chief of the military. He's under military authority. So if he committed treason during his time in office, he should be accountable under a military tribunal. Is that correct?
You are 1,000, not 100. You're 1,000% correct, Kevin.
Trying to get out of Washington, D.C. when they're trying these individuals. Well, keep the other ones in there. That's fine. Obama is going to be tried in a military tribunal, in a military court. And good luck to him. I hope he rots in prison.
Kevin, I want to thank you for your service. God bless you. You're completely right. Kevin, if you can, I know you're busy, but if you listen to the next segment, because I'm going to play a little bit of Senator Ted Cruz. You just got to hear it. You're going to see, because Cruz does a brilliant job. He's read the report that she released yesterday, that Tulsi Gabbard released, and he goes through the timeline really effectively about the treason and the sedition that Obama specifically engaged in, along with his cronies. You're going to want to hear it. Trust me, Kevin. It's going to make your blood boil a little bit, but it's so clear how he lays it out. It's open and shut. You bring this in front of a military tribunal, he's done. His goose is cooked. Kevin, thank you very much for that call. Kim in New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Kim, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hi, Kim.
It's my day off. I'm thinking goofy thoughts. But have you've got young kids? Have you seen that movie, The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, with the cheese touch on the playground?
Kim, I may have driven Ava to the movie theater, and she saw it with her friends, but I didn't see it with her. If I wait in the lounge area until the kids are done, and then I drive them all back. But please keep going, Kim.
I looked it up this morning because, I was a little foggy on it, but the cheese touch was in my head. There's a little 2-minute clip on this little Indian kids describing about the cheese touch that it showed up on the playground and then got moldy, and whoever touches it, or even that there's words that they may have touched it, like then the playground just splits and they're in the center, and that it got taken off somewhere. Finally, a German foreign exchange student, he took the cheese touch home with him, and so it's just, and anything against the Democratic Party is just like the cheese touch. You're
Kim, I like it. I like it, Kim. But look, honestly, you tell me if you agree or disagree. You've got a former Democrat, Trump, former Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard, and it takes a former Democrat to put Democrats in jail. Really. 617-266-6868. I want to play Ted Cruz, but just before I do you remember, everyone seems to have forgotten this now, but this was one of the most infamous comments ever recorded by Hillary Rotten Clinton, the Hildebeest, during the 2016 election, in the waning months of the 2016 election, when, remember then, Donna Brazile was working on her campaign. And she was very angry that Brazile and others weren't working hard enough or weren't delivering enough for her, especially in the swing states. And then she started to just explode, just yell. I mean, just take her to the woodshed. And what she famously said was, if we don't win, I'm leaving out all the F-bombs and the expletives. If we don't win, we're all gonna hang. Every single one of us. Do you blanking understand? We're all gonna blanking hang. So Hillary Clinton knew what the stakes were in that election, that they had to make sure that Trump never win. Because if he win, should he have won, and which he did, then all of the crimes of the Obama administration for 8 years, all of that would then be exposed. And the Clinton Foundation would be exposed. And the money laundering, and the corruption, and the bribery, and the abuse of power, and God knows what else. All of this was now going to be exposed. So they couldn't allow Trump to win. So listen now to Senator Ted Cruz. He goes on Fox, and he says, look, what Tulsi Gabbard revealed yesterday in these explosive bombshell, newly classified documents, he goes, everyone's kind of missing a very important angle. Listen to Senator Cruz. Roll cut 4A. Mike.
What's critical that Tulsi Gabbard made public is not that people put out allegations that Putin wanted Trump to win. It's that they were lying and knew they were lying. That's what's explosive here. Is that their repeated testimony to Congress was false.
Bingo. He's talking about Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary Clinton and Susan Rice. He goes, they perjured themselves over and over and over again about Russia collusion. Now, listen to him. He says, look, I've gone through the report. Now, just follow Cruz, because Cruz lays it out really clearly, very simply. Roll cut 4B, Mike.
Go through some of the facts that Tulsi put out. So, August 31st, 2016, a DHS official tells former DNI James Clapper that there was, quote, no indication of a Russian threat to directly manipulate the actual vote count. That's what they're saying in August of 2016. September 2nd, 2016, the FBI said it was, quote, uncomfortable, implying that there was definitive information that Russia intends to disrupt our elections. September 9th, the intelligence community concluded that, quote, Russia was probably not trying to influence the election by using cyber means. September 12th, same thing.
So, August, September, CIA, NSA, FBI, the intelligence community, over and over again. There's what collusion? They're saying we're not even sure Russia's really even interfering in the election. There's no cyber hacking. There's no impact on the election. There's nothing going on here. Now, we're now going from September into now Trump has won. He's pulled off the incredible upset. So now they're asking the intelligence community again. Okay, come on. The Russians had to have colluded, right? There must be now collusion between Trump and the Russians. Roll cut 4C, Mike.
December 7th, after the election, here was Clapper's talking points written, quote, foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. December 8th, Obama's presidential daily briefing, here's what it said, quote, we assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. So all the way up to December 8th, over and over and over again, they say, no Russia, no Russia, no Russia.
Now, notice, it's not just that the intelligence community told them. This was our unanimous view, our unanimous consensus. Clapper's own talking points. In other words, in his memo, he's saying, no, Russia, foreign adversaries had no impact, no effect on the election whatsoever. That's his own freaking memo. And then Obama gets the daily briefing, and he says, no impact on the election. There was no collusion, nothing. Literally, no Russia, no Russia, no Russia. But then came December 9, 2016, the infamous meeting now in the Oval Office with the dear leader presiding over everything. Listen now to Ted Cruz. Here is what Tulsi shows again. Roll cut 4D, Mike.
And then December 9th, there's a meeting with DNI Director Clapper, with National Security Advisor Susan Rice, with Secretary of State John Kerry, and with Deputy FBI Director McCabe, in which they reverse their positions altogether, and they all come out to say, Russia, 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 that's why Trump got elected. And I'll tell you, this December 9th meeting, FDR famously said December 7th is a date that will live in infamy. Well, December 9th should be a day that will live in infamy, because this is a moment when senior members of our government decided to lie to the American people and to sabotage President Donald Trump, who'd just been elected by the American people.
Bingo. That's what happened. Now, look at how Tulsi lays it out. It's document, meeting. August, September, October. He's skipping over things. Trust me, it's November, it's December, all the way up December 8th. And then suddenly everything turns on December 9. Against all of the evidence, against everything that they were told. And they made up that lie. They manufactured that so-called fake intelligence. The Russia collusion hoax was born. And going forward, they lied under oath. They lied to Congress. They lied to the American people. And they fed it to the media, and the media were willing collaborators. They were complicit in lying to all of us. Now, if this isn't treason, if this isn't sedition, you're not just framing an innocent man. You are literally now falsely accusing and framing the incoming president of the United States with being a foreign agent and having colluded with Russia in order to help Trump win the election over Hillary. It was a coup. You are now delegitimizing Trump's victory. You're now sabotaging his incoming presidency. Now you're going to do everything possible to torpedo and destroy and undermine it based on a lie concocted on December 9. Now, a baby could try this case now. A baby. That's how much Tulsi Gabbard has given him. It's like here, 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 and here. Bill in Somerville. Thanks for holding, Bill, and welcome.
Hi, Jeff. You know,
Hi,
you're
Bill.
the third hardest person to get after the president and the Pope. Let's figure this all out. When you're a general in war, you always have a second battle plan. When you're playing chess, you always want someone to look at one side of the board and you come back on the other side. Well, the president has 300 million people. We have to use that X factor in voting so we can shove it down their throats. All this stuff we're talking about, we're going to bring them to court, this, that, only going to have a slap on the wrist. We have to hurt them in the voting booth.
Oh, Bill, you're saying we've got to tighten up election integrity and get these voting laws passed so the Democrats can't cheat, correct?
Absolutely. From the dog catcher all the way up to president, even maybe the Supreme Court. Everything has to be related.
Well, Bill, it's a very good point. Apparently, they're going to start working on that when they come back from the August recess. Trump says that he wants to make voting integrity and ending this, you know, the election, the corruption, the ballot harvesting, the ballot trafficking, voter ID laws. He wants to make it all national in every single state. So he knows, yeah, it doesn't matter how good your policies are if you have corrupt, crooked elections. So, Bill, the president realizes he's got a lot more to do. That's why, look, to me, I don't even think Congress should go on recess. Honestly, I think there's too much to do. They should stay. And, you know, I mean, how many weeks do these people keep getting off? This to me is ridiculous. By the way, you know, he can't even get most of his U.S. attorneys through because the Democrats are blocking it. Never mind just his judicial appointments, his judges. He can't even get U.S. attorneys. No, let him stay. I don't care. It's August. Too bad. I worked through August. They should work through August. Bill, thank you very much for that call. It's a very good point. Tom, red, white, and blue dynamite baby in New Jersey. Thanks for holding, Tom, and welcome.
Jeff Kuhner, quarterbacking the fundamental change of America back to the constitutional republic that it is. That's red, white, and blue dynamite, baby.
Tom, what's on your mind, my friend?
Jeff, do I have about a half an hour? Can you give me a half an hour?
Go ahead. Let her rip, Tom.
God bless you, my friend. Jeff, Pam Bondi has a Christmas tree and a Thanksgiving dinner table full of things that she can pursue. But I don't want her to worry. She can sit back. She can do the interviews. She can relax. Jeff, she's not prosecuting these cases. Set your litigators on fire, figuratively speaking. Let them go. Cut them loose, Pam. You get to be the quarterback. You're not going to be in the trenches. Jeff, I want anyone associated with the Steele dossier, fraud upon a FISA court, Jeff. Legally speaking, this is about as bad as it gets. Anyone within 100 yards of that, their heads should roll. Jeff, it was really, really bad. And that rat, that big bird, Jim Comey went around pushing his book, saying that he unethically went after Michael Flynn. I guess at Chicago Law School, he missed his ethics class on that day. He's a rat. Jeff, there is so much here. And let me tell you, Dan Bongino, I was late for my Good Friday reading. I only spoke to him once on the air. I'm still waiting for Jeff Sessions, Dan. Did he ever come? Was he ever on our side? No. He was a rhino rat. And that Rob Rosenstein, Robert Mueller, their heads should roll, Jeff. These were all bad people. Hillary smashing her server, Seth Richards, destruction of emails. The list goes on. And, Jeff, finally, I know I'm running out of time, I want the Jeffrey Epstein, because I want anyone that visited Devil's Island to be on a sex offenders registry. That's what I want.
Oh, amen. Tom, look, she's got to release the Epstein files. I think she will. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow or next week, but she's under growing pressure. Even now, Trump is saying pretty much, let's release it and let's move on. So she's going to have to release the Epstein files. But no, you're right. It's not as if she's, going to be individually prosecuting, Obama or Brennan or Hillary or Clapper. She's got lawyers and prosecutors to do that. All she's got to do is give it the green light.